Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I've got a best of 3 from the Zotac Cup. It is between Light Golden and roxkisFRAER. FRAER is the green Protoss player in the top right and Golden is the yellow Zerg in the lower left, and that means one thing: it is a ZVP game, and being a first game of a best of 3, this should be super awesome. I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are as well. So what can we expect from these two players? Well, FRAER I reckon is almost certainly going to go for some form of fast expand, just because Daybreak really suits itself and it's what's really common, and the probe coming down here is almost a guarantee, and once we see the pylon we know that's exactly what is going to be happening. Meanwhile, Golden, he's much more likely to go for a 14 or 15 pull into a quick hatch and then a 4 to 5 minute third base. That is the standard response to a forge fast expand, although there are other options available. You could do a big Ling Roach all in. You could also do a really cool one base play, which is getting a bit more common now, where you basically go to lair of one base, get Zergling speed, you then fly an Overlord over, generate creep and build spine crawlers to basically knock down the wall, and that is a really fun build to do. It's a bit cheesy, but Protoss players find it so difficult to deal with. Light is scouting exceptionally early though. Well, sorry, what am I on about? FRAER is scouting exceptionally early now, and Golden, he's, well, up to 15 drones, so we'll probably see a pull out of him soon. And are we going to see FRAER pylon block the natural? We will. That's obviously going to be super annoying if it wasn't, of course, for Golden going for that pull first build. Meanwhile, FRAER looks like he's really gearing up to go for a Nexus first build. And the reason you know that is essentially because he is already up to what is 16 supply. The Forge had come out before this, so he's definitely going to be going for that Nexus very, very quickly. And that's again why this pylon is down, because it's going to force Golden to take it out. It's going to delay his expansion and just mean the FRAER is going to get so far ahead in terms of economy. But actually this probe has stopped, and this means the Golden is going to quickly come down here and take his third base first, which is quite a common decision, but not actually going to be able to get in there. That drone pulling back, and that's really surprising, but the Nexus is already down here for FRAER. And of course, the longer this goes on without Golden being able to take his own expansion, the worse it's going to get. 4 Zerglings are on their way, and obviously this is still a one base play here for Golden. He's getting 6 Zerglings, which is an awful lot. FRAER, he's getting out the Forge, the Gateway, and unless of course Golden were to go for a complete all-in, he's gonna get so far behind economically. He is taking down this pylon now, but time will tell. How long will it be? Those 2 Zerglings desperate to pick off the probe, which of course is the threat of pyloning at the third base. But I mean, it's now a ticking clock. Essentially, we're gonna have to see Golden double expand, which is never too good. That natural base is going to get delayed significantly. I mean, FRAER already nearly completed his Nexus, now getting 2 gas behind that. The Gateway and Photon Cannon are on their way. No sign of a third base attempt yet from Golden, and that is slightly concerning to me, because that basically means he's going to try and 2 base against FRAER. Because if he delays it much longer past the 5 minute mark, he's just going to get so far behind economically. Of course, 2 basing against the Protoss can be pretty risky. It depends all on FRAER, how well he defends, how good his wall off is, but for the moment with that cannon there, these 5 Zerglings, sorry, are not going to be able to get in. One stay back at the watchtower just to keep an eye out for things, but still no attempt for a third base out of Golden yet, and this is pretty much definitely going to be a 2 base all-in. Otherwise we would definitely have seen that, or if not an all-in, a lot of pressure put on this pylon on the high ground. Really, really useful for a faster warp in time. But actually we're going to see Golden try and take a base now, but and over a minute later than it wants to be is never fun times. That is about a minute 20 later than optimum, and that's just going to delay Golden's economy so much. If we look at the worker count, already 6 ahead there for FRAER, which is very, very significant. With the chrono boost coming off as well, that is going to get even steeper. These 6 Zerglings have done pretty much nothing. They're trying to get a bit of damage on this Zealot, but the Zealot being microed as best as possible to try and take it out. But to be honest, with the surround, this Zealot should go down pretty easily without too many losses, but 2 Zerglings were picked off, and 2 more got to exceptionally low health. Great little micro battle there. But meanwhile, FRAER, he's getting out that +1, he's getting the Cyber Core, and sorry, one minute about getting the +1, getting the Warp Gate tech. 3 more gateways being added on, takes him up to 4 gates. Are we going to see for example, a robotics facility added onto this. Maybe we'll have a blink play, but either way, if we take a look at the worker count, still equal on the workers, which is never fun at all for the Zerg player. It just means that for so long FRAER was either ahead or equal on income, and that's just going to allow him to really monopolize on dealing the damage. The lack of production due to the third base only just being down is going to hurt a lot. And now this Stalker is down as well. That's just going to be really irritating, but the two Queens are on their way. But once this pylon goes down as it is, it just means that the warp-in time is going to be so close. There are those 3 additional gateways. No sign of a robotic facility yet, but that +1 is going to be done pretty easily. 4 gates off of 2 base is certainly able to deal a lot of damage, but it's not an all-in by any means, and it will allow FRAER to secure a 3rd base behind it should he wish. Although banking up quite a lot of minerals and gas just ready for these big warp-ins. Purely Stalkers, so no sentries as of yet. There comes down the Twilight Council, so this is going to be transitioning into a blink play, and suddenly this is a lot of Stalkers, and with only 4 Zerglings there, this could be a big problem, and this 3rd base could actually take a lot of damage if Golden isn't exceptionally careful. Needs to play very well here. The Queen's probably going to get focused down, which will obviously hurt production a lot. These roaches are on their way out, but more Stalkers coming in here, and FRAER is in an absolutely dominating position, and if he does take out this 3rd base, he is going to be absolutely on the money. There is only a handful of roaches here. The Zerglings aren't following up. Zergling speed still isn't done, which means these Stalkers are going to be just so deadly. The Spine is on its way forward, but just look at this micro, just picking off so many units. It's absolutely painful to watch, and of course Golden is just having to max out on so many roaches and Zerglings behind this while taking so much damage. Those Zealots going to help a tremendous amount in soaking up some of the fire for these Stalkers, and blink is on the way already. The +1 is finished, +2 already started. Golden now supply block quite heavily, trying to pull even drones to deal with this. The Zeta will go down, but of course with this micro there's just so much damage being done for essentially nothing. I mean, look at the loss tab, over double the resources lost for Golden compared to FRAER right now. A big warp in of Zealot is going to help a lot, and this 3rd base is not looking to be too comfortable. I mean, those overlords getting slightly in the way of the vision here, but while the roach numbers are climbing high, the 3rd base gets sniped, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is not a good place for a Zerg player to be. Being on equal basis with the Protoss player is terrible. Being on equal basis while a huge amount of pressure is being brought on is even worse, because if nothing else, Golden has really only 2/3 of the production he should have, essentially. And in line with that, he also has a lot less income. If we look at the worker count, still FRAER is ahead in terms of workers, which ultimately means that FRAER is ahead of the income tab, and that means that he's going to be able to keep bringing the pain. 2, 3, 4 more gateways being added on now, taking him up to 8 gates. Blink is nearly done, and that is certainly a lot of pain able to be brought very quickly. Some pylons are going to get picked off though, and that could be a bit of a pain, but meanwhile we will see these Stalkers arcing round, and now blink is done. They're going to be incredibly potent against all of this force. Golden is doing his best to resupply, retake his 3rd, but he's really clinging on by the string of his teeth. And just take a look at this worker count now. We're getting to a very dangerous spot. No workers in production at all at the moment for Golden. Obviously FRAER oversaturated at both of these bases right now. Is getting in a position where he could take a 3rd shortly. There is a Zergling there, but FRAER now adding in some sentries. That's going to make those Zerglings a lot less effective. A robotics facility also on its way out. Burrow is coming down for Golden. He's also trying to get that +1 missile attack, but of course +2 just clicked in there for FRAER. That's going to give him a real big upgrade advantage. He's got superior numbers, and I believe he's even got superior army supply. Or actually no, he doesn't. So this is all going to come down to the micro, but blink is going to become so critical. Absolutely essential upgrade in the big Stalker force, and that is going to be exceptionally difficult for Golden to deal with, although he does have that road speed down, which will help tremendously. And his 3rd base is now back up. He's getting those injects. He's got a nice burrow down there, probably hoping the FRAER is going to move forward and basically walk over these roaches, at which point he can unburrow and have a complete surround, which would be ever so helpful. Of course, this natural base is always the risk, but is FRAER going to go for it? He doesn't have an observer over here yet, and this could be really big if he does move forward and all those roaches unburrow. This would be absolutely huge, and that is exactly... That was so close. FRAER clearly knows something is up, and once that observer comes over, as it is, then all of these burrowed roaches are suddenly going to have a very, very bad time. But we will see here FRAER moving all the way forward. There is the unburrow, and that is an amazing blink, but those sentries are getting caught out of position. Some great force fields go down. A good burrow of all the front zerglings, and that was a good little engagement there for Golden. That leveled up the resources lost massively. And suddenly we will see here Golden pushing forward as hard as he can. And this is actually doing an awful lot of damage. All of the sentries get taken down, which is a lot of resources lost. And we now have Golden in a really good spot. And all from that lovely, beautiful unburrow play. And suddenly we've got FRAER running back home, trying to be defensive. But of course, the big concern, the worker count's still in FRAER's favour. And once we see, well, if this burrowed zergling is taken out, we'll see a third base come down, at which point it is exceptionally dangerous. 2 immortals queued up, plus 3 ground attack nearly done already. And that means that Golden has got a nice opportunity, but if he doesn't capitalize on it quickly, he's going to have big, big problems, because so much of his supply is taken up in roaches. His third base hasn't been up and running for very long at all. We do have a drop coming down behind this as well, and that's actually going to get away with hardly any losses. How many workers were killed though? Well, 7 in total, but quite a few were killed at the third base engagement. I forgot to check that. Tunneling Claws coming down as well now. That's going to be exceptionally helpful. Where is the observer? I do not know at the moment. Hopefully, it's not even hotkeyed, which is a bit awkward for me. But, well, this is all going to come down to some good engagements. Quite a few zealots are getting taken down. A good burrow, but the observer is in there, so these stalkers are able to do an awful lot of damage. The plus 3 weapons done. We do have that Protoss shield upgrade coming down as well, which will help a lot, especially with the immortals. But, well, this is never ever going to end nicely for Golden unless he does something big, and he does it quickly. I mean, the only saving grace is this Zergling, a photon cannon having to be built to take down a single burrowed Zergling. Never did you think you would see that, and, well, we do have a bit of a stalemate situation going on here. Neither player wants to engage. Golden is, though, building an awful lot of units. He is only at 48 now drones, which is not enough by any means. And this burrow forward did seem like quite a good move at the time, but with the observer there was a lot of free shots off, especially with those 2 immortals in there and the plus 3 weapons. They are just dealing so much damage. I mean, if we take a look at these immortals, as long as they stay up, they're going to do huge amounts. One zealot already with 11 kills, and this is just going so well, and Golden is going to GG right there. So that was game 1, people. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe as well would be awesome. Follow me on Twitter, leave a comment, but most importantly, go to my channel, find game 2, which should be right next to this one, and I'll see you there in a second. Thank you very much for watching, and be right back.